And I have the hat back on again.
You got the hat
hair
back
day.
Oh,
See, it's too messy. It's too like.
Oh no, it looks fine. Oh, well, now you've ruined it. Hello and welcome to the DM's Book Club, a podcast where we read about some Dungeons & Dragons and discuss how we might include it in our role-playing campaigns. As you can see, I'm reporting live from London. What looks like an incredible green screen, but it's actually a decal at work. Is that how you call them? Decals?
I call them decals, but I imagine that's
Decal.
Americanizing of it.
I don't know. Anyway, it looks like a really good. It looks like a really good green screen, but it's not.
It does.
But
You could have just said you've got a really great green
I
screen.
don't. It looks like I'm flying though slightly. If I put my arms like that, like Superman
Yes.
in a way. With me, as always, for every episode of DM's Book Club is Hamilton. Hamilton, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was just when you said for every episode, I was like, well, I'm not in every episode.
Well, currently, you're in every episode.
Yes, I know. It's like, was I there? I was there. Okay, that's fine.
In the background somewhere.
I was always there. In the
You're always
spirit.
there.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very good. How are you?
I'm very good. It's on the day of recording. It is a Friday, which is wonderful. I always feel so much better when it's Friday. I know, it's one of those things. Weekends happening, and yeah, I've been doing good. I had my first in-person D&D game for the first time in 2 years with my friends.
Ooh.
I know, it was very.
And what did you do? Go on, tell it. You want to tell
the
everyone.
Story. So I managed to do the most damage I've ever done in a campaign. I did over 175 damage in my turn to a single creature, and I had to have my friend David do all the maths for me because I was like, because it was back to rolling properly and then using, like, I had my tactics document out and I was like, I need a calculator. But it was really good fun. Then we had cake, and it's one of those things where I do love playing online. I think I've developed a lot of skills online and stuff like that, and it's just very different to being in person. And I can understand why people, if they're coming back to D&D or coming back to any RPG game in person, it's such a joy.
Yeah.
So when you have that first in-person game, I hope if and when you have it, just enjoy it for what it is, and hopefully it's not a very serious fight as it turned out to be for us. Hopefully it's a lovely little thing where you can all just be like, hello. I saw you last week online, but I can see you in person now. So
Yeah, I really want to organise one for our Shattered Realm at like some point. Do an in-person something, maybe for like episode 10's coming up too soon. Maybe like episode 20 or something.
20. Have like a fine finale in the pub, but then
Yes.
the audio and streaming would be just terrible for it.
No, that's it exactly. So I don't know. Yeah.
Well, because I mostly record the games online. So last night we were like, well, should we record it? And I was like, I'll just record it as an audio thing rather than, because we were like, we could get the cameras again. And I was like, that sounds like a lot of effort for what should be an enjoyable, not enjoyable,
exactly.
but it should be a quick thing. So. But so that's me. And so have you got any D&D stuff happening with you or anything like that?
I'm just doing the live show stuff, the show stuff at the moment. But we've had a lot of fun. We got out of the abyss, which is always good thing. I did the whole don't want to railroad them, but giving them two really cool options. But then one was clearly cooler than the other, and they went for the cooler one, which was at level 5/6. Let's go into a demon lord's fortress.
No,
and so I had
cool.
to sort of like manipulate a bit of Deus Ex Machina that, like, there was a battle going on between the War Master and the Demon Lord, so like they were occupied, and they fortunately went illusory for 2 hours because of wild magic surges, and so they were able to just waltz on in to the fortress because it was illusory. It was that was thanks to a D100 that happened, because otherwise I was going to be like, you're going to have to roll some freaking good stealth or you're all going to die because some Nabasu is going to come and eat your soul or something like that, which is one of the names of the episode, Soul Eating Monkey Bats, because that's what they are.
I love that. Well, speaking of things that can just absolutely kill you, shall we? What is our topic of today, Hamilton?
Something really chill, light-hearted.
Yeah.
Never mucks up a campaign completely.
No.
Also something that I am so in love with because I love a good bit of completely breaking DM game campaign things like this. So yeah. So what is it? Oh,
are you telling me you built it up and then and now to you? So
yeah.
So today we're talking about, I think, one of the most infamous magical items that appears in pretty much everyone's campaign, because it's like, this is quite fun. solid, we're just going to do it. We're going to talk about the deck of many things. This sort of card pack where if you draw a card, and depending on the symbol on it, you can have a magical effect that happens on you. And some of them are really, really good, and some of them are dreadful. So we thought, why don't we have a quick look at them? Because I think it's one of those things where you'll hear them, you'll see them being played. I've again famously seen them being played in Critical Role, where it was just again nearly a complete ending of the campaign. I've seen them elsewhere. I just think they're such a cool object that you, as a DM, you'll be very tempted to use them in your campaign. So let's have a look at them. Let's see what we'd improve on them. Because as I was looking through it, I was like, this is interesting, because I feel like it's not... Again, no spoilers or anything like that per se, but it's just like, there's a lot you could do with it, but it feels a very strict thing. Like it was meant for certain how you would run games previously, and maybe not so much anymore. So I thought, so let's have a look at that.
I like that. That's an interesting way of putting it. All right, so I'm going to share the screen here. So we've got the D&D Beyond up here.
Excellent.
Page, so you can see it there. Yeah, there we are. We've all moved. I think your point about when they'd used it in Critical Role, it was a good time to use it because it was literally at the end of the campaign. It was kind of like, why not?
Yeah.
And Travis being Travis, it was sort of like that's the sort of person that was going to do it. And so it is kind of great. And I think before you do it, just take a good look at your DM before you try and use it. Just like make sure that they're comfortable that you're going to do this, and vice versa with your players as well. Because it's kind of it's dangerous. It could be really fun.
It could dangerous. And out of interest, Hamilton, because I know you are catching up or have watched bits of Critical Role. Have you watched the Battle Royales with the Critical Role?
No, I haven't.
So and a slight tiny spoiler, but there's one of the fights they do. I think it's the first Battle Royale, and at one point, Travis's character Grog goes, "Great, I wish to pull 4 cards from the deck of many things."
Yes.
Like, as their first round, and everyone goes, "Oh no!"
I would like to pull out the deck of many things.
Oh, you dick! You dick!
So, Grog, how do you want to slice
How many cards?
How many cards do you want to pull?
Oh, it'll be a slave.
5 cards? Oh my god, this is
Five.
Yeah!
It's gonna be chaos.
As a result, and I just love that because it didn't matter. It was just something, it's a one shot. They can just
so perfect.
Yeah.
Oh.
Honestly, I'd recommend watching that tiny 10-minute section as they go, okay, because it's not fighting or anything like that. Right, we'll need to work out exactly what you're doing. Just because he's like, I want to see the chaos that's going to rain on it. So
did you see? There was a really good. This is off topic a little bit, but there was, because you talked about this and you brought it up. There was a GIF that a meme that I posted. I copied, like as in like retweeted the other day, which was when it was talking about like who's like someone. It's got in captions and it's like, who's the best character? Who's the most powerful character in the Mighty Nine? And it goes like, well, you could say this, you could say that, you could say that, and then it goes, who's the most powerful character in Vox Machina? Keyleth. Full stop.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, of course. Like it's so easy.
100%. At some point, we'll have to do an episode on druids and just talk about how badass they are. And like, I've never touched playing a druid at all, just because I'm so. I feel like I'll get overwhelmed by just how much stuff they can do and how powerful they can be. So I completely agree. It's like, yep, Keyleth, done.
It's easy. It's so easy.
But yeah. But going back
back to this.
back to the deck of many things. So these are it's usually found in a box or a pouch, and it contains a number of cards made of ivory or vellum. And here's a little thing. It says like most decks, so 75% of them only have 13 cards, but the rest have 22. And essentially, before you draw a card, you must declare how many cards you are intending to draw, and then draw them randomly. Any cards drawn in excess after that have no effect. So if you say you're going to draw 2 and you draw 3, the third card doesn't have an effect, which could be interesting. As soon as you draw that card from the deck, the magic takes effect. You must draw each card no more than an hour after the previous draw. If you fail to draw the chosen number, the remaining number of cards fly out from the deck on their own and take effect all at once. So that could easily be chaotic if you're just like, I don't know, if you trick someone into taking them, or just say how many would you take, etc. But once the card is drawn, it fades from existence, and unless the card is the Fool or the Jester, which we'll get to, the card reappears in the deck, making it possible to draw the same card twice. Now that's something I didn't know. I just assumed once you've drawn it, that's it. You don't get it again. So that's fascinating.
Makes
I think
it much more deadly as well.
Yeah, like
but
just another example that I saw. There's obviously we've talked about it before on this podcast. The Dungeon Daddies podcast did a thing where the DM tricked the players into taking cards from the deck, and they did this whole thing. So it had been at the time recorded remotely, that they would go round, people would pick the cards and then put them in sealed envelopes, and then they would reveal them whilst online about what order they took them in and all that sort of thing. And that was a really cool thing. So again, for me as a person who's I say that I don't really use props per se, but I think I definitely would love to use props and get the players to take the card if they were using it there and then. Like everything about it is so cool.
No, it is very cool. It's so dangerous. That's all I look at it and go. And the fact that you can get them twice could be really bad or really good, as I say. Like if you get 50,000 GP. I also did just note when I've been looking online at this, you can actually also appear as metallic plates cast on thin sheets of metal.
Ooh,
supposedly.
I love that.
Which is on the wiki, the Forgotten Realms wiki, supposedly. So, and there's a bit of lore on them. I don't know if you know much of the lore of where they came from.
Please do.
Yeah, so the history of them is that the original deck of Mystery was created by an ancient empire of the Netheril. Then these decks were nothing but decks of games of chance, basically, that had a minor bit of enchantment upon them. So just a minor one which wasn't very powerful magic. But since the decay of the city and these being lost for such a long time, that magical energy has been absorbed into them so much more that they now have this power based on the theories behind them. So they were just like the jester meant these things, and they had a small enchantment for playing like games of chance, but not the powerful magic that's grown over years of just hiding away.
I love
cool,
that.
right? Yeah.
That's a great story behind them as well, and because a lot of the times when they are just found, they're just seen as these an odd curiosity that's just been left in a treasure hoard of dragons or in a wizard's high tower or something like that. So I love that again, this little thing for the DM to know about, but the players will never really know because it's maybe not part of the campaign or just like why would they? That's just an odd curiosity. You're like, I'm just gonna.
I never found that until I looked at this wiki and found that piece of lore, and I was like, I just thought it was interesting to give it that, and for DMs to have.
So I thought we'd go through the 13 common ones and then the rest of them. So these are the ones that are more likely you will find in a pack, and I'll just read them out, and then we can go through them, or we can pick which ones we like. Oh, that was a really interesting one. So the 13 common ones we have are Sun, Moon, Star, Throne, Key, Night, the Void, Flames, Skull, Ruin. How do you pronounce this? Urail?
Urail.
Urail? Question mark. Rogue.
Uriel, maybe.
Uriel. Yeah.
Uriel.
Should have checked before we started recording. Uriel, Rogue, and Jester. Those are the common 13 ones that you'd find in 75% of the packs. Out of those 13, are there any that sort of like catch your eye at all? You're like, oh, that's a really interesting one.
I thought I really liked Star. I thought that was interesting.
So this one increases one of the ability scores by 2.
Yeah. I had it as 2 defining qualities and were greatly and permanently enhanced. But is that changed? Is that what I'm reading? I'm reading. I might be reading old lore.
Oh, well, it definitely increases a stat of some sort. So,
okay, yeah. Yeah,
so
that's
it. It's a good one, always a good one to have yours. And if it just reappears back in the deck, that's always good as well.
No, that is very cool. What about yourself? What was the one that sort of came to you?
This is the bit where I was like, oh, I'm not that's interesting. So the first one's the Sun, which I've written down in my notes as gain good stuff. So you gain 50,000 XP and a wondrous item, which the GM determines randomly and appears in your hands. Now, it's interesting because I don't remember the last time I don't remember any time I've really used XP for my games. Obviously, not even back in ye olden times, but obviously a couple of years ago there was using XP for gaining your levels and stuff like that, and you use it perhaps in Adventurers League still. But now I'm just like, So I assume obviously this would, if you're at lower levels, it will gain you quite a few, like a level or two up. But then obviously the further along you get, you're less likely to level up to the next one. So I would actually change it. Perhaps I would make it so that you gain 2 levels or something like that, or something the equivalent of, because I don't know how often we use XP anymore. Certainly I've not in my games.
Yeah, I don't really use it. I would use it as like leveling up. Basically, that's exactly what you said. Because I use milestone XP, so milestone leveling. So I just think you would just figure out what that means in terms of their leveling up potential, and give them that. Basically, that's how I would deal with it.
But the sun gives you a level up, possibly, and a wondrous item, which is always good. So that's two good things from the sun card.
I think the fun one that I really like is the rogue.
Yes.
which is quite fun because a non-player character of the GM's choice becomes hostile towards you. The identity of your new enemy isn't known until the NPC or someone else reveals it. Nothing less than a wish spell or divine intervention can end this hostility towards you. I like the older version, where a person close to the drawer of the card, or even a powerful figure or organization, became hostile towards them through their identity. So I like the idea that someone close to the drawer of a card, I read that as written as in someone in the party nearby.
Yeah.
Exactly. So not someone close to them as in like my close family or something like that. I think what would be fun is it's like you roll one of the local players and you now hate them. And it also says that in this one, the person who hated the drawer did not reveal their hatred until the most opportune time to cause the most trouble to the object of their hatred. Yeah, which I think is great because that's like, you just tell one of the players. They know that one of the players probably is hostile to them. They don't know which one, and you've got a game of werewolf basically until the moment when they kind of go and strike. Which I think would be quite
absolutely. Yeah, it gives that. Yeah, it's similar. So I think it gives it in the GM's guide. Or DM's guide, sorry. Yeah, that the rogue should be kept secret and should come from someone thought to be a friend or an ally. As the dungeon master, you should wait for a dramatically appropriate moment to reveal it, leaving the adventurer guessing who it is to become the likely betrayer. So again, could easily become a really cool story point. So rather than making it somebody random, but having it somebody important, but also somebody at the table as well. Absolutely, I think that'd be amazing. Just like that, and like telling that other players as a like an opportunity for role play. It's like, hey, this is starting to happen to you, and it's just grating away. Like those little pet hates that build up until you go, oh my god, so close your mouth when you're eating. That sort of level, attack. I quite like that one as well. The other ones that I quite liked, I think the famous one I've definitely seen happen, the skull, which is essentially you summon an avatar of death, a ghostly humanoid skeleton clad in a tattered black robe and carrying a ghostly scythe. I can't even speak today. It appears in the space of the GM's choice within 10 feet of you and attacks, warning all others you must win the battle alone. It fights until you die or it dies, whereupon it disappears. If anyone helps you, this helper summons its own avatar of death. So, and then if the creature is slain by an avatar of death, it cannot be restored to life. And then that's just all it says. So even I would take from that ruling, even a wish spell can bring you back or anything like that.
Yeah.
So,
no, exactly. And
I love that.
And it's pretty hard to beat half the hit points of maximum of its summoner. So that's sort of doable to a certain extent. That could be quite manageable. But an armor class of 20, and then straight 16s across the board on abilities. Yeah. So plus 3s to everything.
It's a pretty beefy stat block, that avatar of death. So, yeah.
But it only has a scythe which does 1d8 plus 3 damage, which is sort of a plus 3 to was it a plus 3 to hit? Yeah, I think so it's not too bad, but
does it get more than one attack per turn, or is it?
It just gets to sweep its actions. Oh, it does plus 1d8 necrotic damage as well. So it's got immune to charmed, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, or unconscious. So, and damage immune to necrotic and poison. It's not too bad. It's just.
I think it's if you're like at a point in like. Maybe you're in your own battle with somebody else and you're like, okay, I'm going to pull some cards out, and then, oh no, I've made it worse. Much worse for me. If you're already down on hit points and spell slots and all that sort of thing. But
if you're a barbarian, it's basically got a quarter of your hit points. If you know what I mean. True. So actually, it's probably doable if you're, in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Other ones, again, of interest, the ruin. All forms of wealth you carry on yourself, other than magic items, are lost to you. Portable property vanishes. Businesses, buildings, and land you own are lost in a way that alters reality the least. Any documents that prove that you own something are lost to this card. Disappears. That's a way to properly root. It's like not only just like money stuff, but your whole livelihood gone.
Yeah. You'd think though, if you're someone who, it kind of makes it a little bit easier if you're someone who hasn't got anything to have a go at this, because it's like, well, what am I going to lose? I mean, you could lose a lot of other things in the bad ones, but at least one of those cards is less bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess, and then possibly the most, well, but then on the opposite side of that, you have Throne, which is where you gain proficiency in persuasion and double it, yada yada yada. But you also gain the rightful ownership of a small keep somewhere in the world. Yeah. However, this keep is in the hands of monsters, which you must clear out before you claim this keep as your own. Like, you don't see that on the estate agent sign. Like, one careful owner must have own party to clear out mercenaries on hand.
Yeah, fantastic. I love it. Yeah. It's cool though. It is quite good though. I think that's a fun one, and that's like, it's a good little adventure out of it. You know, let's go clear our keep of monsters, make that a bit fun. It's good as well. It's not just you get a keep. You know, it could be very simple, so it's kind of fun. Yeah. Yeah. The other ones, then I kind of like the moon one. Everyone knows is like, oh, that's when you get 3 wish spells, and it's your classic, you know, genie wishes, which is quite 1d3. Sorry.
Well, up to 3 possibly. Yeah, absolutely, which I love. Yeah.
Going. Oh yeah, key is kind of is another like just get a rare weapon which you're proficient at. That's it.
Which is always really good. The knight, you gain the service of a level 4 fighter that appears in a space you've chosen within 30 feet of you, same race as you, and serves you loyally until death, believing the fates have drawn him or her to you, and you control his character. So again, I love it happened in that Critical Role one shot where a fighter appeared and was completely outmatched by everyone, which I absolutely loved. I guess I don't know what I would do with that one, because I think again level 4 is a nice level. But at the same time, if you're pulling this card out when you're in your double figure tiers, as it were, I would maybe scale it up a bit. Like it would be like a level 10 fighter or something, depending on.
It says here a powerful knight appeared in the other old version.
Oh,
so I was so I'd say I think I would just say you gain the service of an equal level to your level fighter. Would be
almost
cool.
Like another character, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like an NPC. Because an NPC you generally take along with you in a like a DMPC as well would always be sort of the same level as you. So I would suggest your level, or if you're below if you're like level maybe even up to +1 at DM's discretion. Like if you're at level 4, you might gain level 5 fighter or something like that. Maybe I don't know.
No, I agree. Just I think just to. I guess it's all situational, right? Because you never know when this card's going to be pulled, and that's the beauty of it. But also, I do feel like you pull it out and you're like, oh, well, I don't need you just now. But again, you could pull it out in a social combat sort of thing, and then you just always have your hype person, like, I'm with him, I'm with her, till death do us part, and it's just willing to do lots of stuff for you. But
I would like it. Oh, the other thing I'd add for chaos level, if we were going to do this in limbo, let's say, you would you would like roll up a random generate a character off bat. So it's like you could get yourself a bard or something like that, or you can get your hype person, or you can get.
That's true, actually. Because I guess because obviously here it does say like, it's a fighter, but actually you'd be like, what does randomize it? Who would you like in your moment of need? Who was most likely to come and help you? And I like that.
Because if you were like, if you needed a mage at some point, and you go, let's see if we can get one, because it would make it much more like, and then you could summon what is most needed for your encounter right now or something.
I like that actually. Yeah, if it's like you're in your hour of need, and then the paladin comes up, or then a druid card or something. The
need card.
The need card. The needful things card.
Yeah, needful things. I like that. Yeah.
Flames. A powerful devil becomes your enemy, so like almost like the opposite to that rogue card. It seeks your ruin and plagues your life, savoring your suffering before attempting to slay you. This lasts until either you or the devil dies. And that's interesting because, again, devils are all about contracts and all very finicky and stuff like that. So I can imagine a real, again, story hook of going to Avernus and going down to the Nine Hells and trying to like suss out this other devil and doing lots of contracts to stop this creature constantly bothering you. Like,
useful, to be honest.
But also, I like the idea that it's savouring your suffering, so this builds up over time. So the little things start happening, and that's the other thing. That's actually another good point. So if your players, Hamilton, didn't know what these cards meant, they just pulled it out and it was like, oh, it's got flames on it. Would you tell them what that meant? If you had, or would you keep it a secret and say, "Oh,
I
interesting"?
think I'd give them like a. Yeah, it depends actually, because you could just say they don't have to go on a quest to find out what it means, or I'd give them a sort of like, boom, you see a devil, boom, he's like, and you see his face in front of you, and it's kind of like, and it like growls at you, and then it disappears, and you're like, and that's all I'd give them, and I think that would be kind of like fun.
Yeah, because some of these are like obviously it happens right then and there, right? But I just like that idea, like the ones that seek your ruin, or the betrayer, like the rogue one, is that you don't know what's happened with that one because you don't know who it is until it happens. So I just thought that's pretty cool. And then there's 3 left now.
Yeah,
I guess let's stop dancing around the void. Let's talk about the void.
That's what we've been doing, dancing around the void with Fiona and Hamilton.
Oh no. What a terrible...
Sounds like a CD like compilation, doesn't it? Dancing around the void. Anyway, yes.
Sponsored by Audible. Yes, this black card spells disaster. Your soul is drawn from your body and contained in an object in a place of the GM's choice. One or more powerful beings guard this place. Whilst your soul is trapped in this way, your body is incapacitated. A wish spell can't restore your soul, but the spell reveals the location of the object that holds it. You draw no more cards, obviously. So this is an interesting one, this idea that, it's a game-ending one for you, essentially, because obviously if your friends aren't high level enough, or if they don't care about you, they're not coming to find you, and so your body is just left.
That's interesting, because the old one used to say, the location of the object was revealed to anyone nearby.
Oh, interesting.
Which I kind of like the idea that never play with this card deck on your own, because you might because there's no one there to hear where you've ended up. But like if you're just in a random street, so only like a random person who's nearby you hears it, and then your rest of your party goes like, "Where's he gone? Supposedly he's here. I don't know why I know this sort of thing."
But that's a great story hook, right? You're just walking down the street, you finish it, and there's another adventurer's like, "Haha!" and then takes a card and goes, "Oh no!" and they go, and then a pack of cards goes down, and you're like,
and then you instantly see this location in your mind,
and you're like, "Oh, I must help them." But also, I now have a pack of cards.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm stealing that. Cut it out, Jay. I want to steal it. No, that's fine.
No, go for it. But that's interesting because again, I know at some point we need to do a whole episode on the wish spell and ways to use it. But I love how it's like wish spell can't help you. It can only do this. It's making it very clear, because I always think that clearly in the playtest or somebody around Gary Gygax was like, wish spell for this, and they're like, no wish spell.
Because this is a high level sort of pack, isn't it, as well? So you're probably you might have access to these things, so they've got to make it sort of difficult.
Yeah, very difficult.
And then we've got Jester, and the other one is
Uriel, yes. So let's get rid of the Uriel.
Let's get that so we can stop saying it.
So this card's Medusa-like visage curse you. You take a -2 penalty on saving throws whilst cursed in its way. Only a god or the magic of the Fates card can end this curse. The Fates card is obviously in the rarer packs as well. So again, another quest to go see a god to end this -2 penalty on saving throws when cursed in this way. I was just like, oof, that's quite bad. Like, if you're already crap at certain saving throws as well, having almost even more -2 is quite a detrimental for sure.
Definitely. I know I'm not a fan of that. And then the Jester is similar to the Sun one again, isn't it? Really, where you gain less basically. You gain 10,000 XP and you draw 2 additional cards beyond your declared draws.
That's interesting. So you either get 10,000 experience points or you draw 2 additional cards beyond your declared draw.
Take it and leave it, wouldn't you?
Which one would you go for if you got presented with that? If we changed it to our you get a level up or the equivalent,
I would say
you more.
I think I've done alright at that. I've got away with a middling card. I've got 3 bars on the thing. I haven't got the 4-bar one. I've only got like 1 little 1 runs, but I'll take that. Yeah. We haven't talked about the Fool, or is the Fool in the 20?
The Fool's in the others.
In the other deck.
But we can start with that one. So I think that's all of them covered from that one.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other 9 cards, we have the Vizar,
Vizier.
Vizier. Sorry, Vizier.
I don't know.
Comet. The Fates, Gem, Talons, Idiot, Don John, Balance, and Fool. So these are the rarer cards as well. So yeah, let's talk about the Fool then.
Okay, the Fool. Well, the Fool is you lose 10,000 XP, discard the sword, and draw from the deck again, counting both draws as one of your declared draws. If losing that much XP would cause you to lose level, you instead lose an amount that leaves you with just enough XP to keep your level. I would just say you lose a level. I think it's just lose a level.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting because 10,000, like, again, like I said, for me, because it gets to a point where if you're high enough level, it means nothing. You don't necessarily lose a level. But I would be like, lose a level, gain a level, just make it easier.
And you draw from the deck again.
Oh yeah, draw from the deck again is always like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
No, I quite like that as a like, oh yeah, you miss a turn or skip a turn, go again. That's that's not how miss a turn works, but never mind. Let's for me from this one, here's an interesting one. Balance. So this is the alignment change one. Now obviously again, I know we've banged on about alignment for ages, every bloody time, I know, but this idea that your mind suffers a wrenching alteration, causing your alignment to change. Lawful becomes chaotic, good becomes evil, and vice versa. If you are true neutral or unaligned, this card has no effect on you. Now, Hamilton, what would you do with this card? Like, I mean, how often? I don't think I've ever asked you. Like, how often does alignment play for your characters? You play it.
You play it, but mainly because, and as I've said a few times on this as well, like is on our because we are in the game show, we always want to roll for things, so we always just roll randomly for a race and alignment to give like more random and just give things for the character. But also, I always give players anything additional. I always like when you give something additional that you can add to a player's mentality, and so I just tell them what they are. I'm not going to be forthright on them having to stick to it, because it's just, this is where you are right now. It just gives them something to, it's just giving prompts for coming up with a backstory, isn't it, really? And so and some players and some players in our shows and I've done in games have been more, I'm chaotic evil, so I am going to be chaotic evil, and that's what it is. And some are going, I'm lawful good. That's so boring. I don't want to be that. And it's like, well, fine, you were lawful good, or don't take it. You don't have to take it. Like, that's just what it like. That's because we randomly roll, so you're stuck with them. But I always say, like, if you want to choose one, then please do, because it's always a nice way just to make everyone else sort of understand where they're coming from and help you sort of make a decision in those moments when you're trying to, act someone. It's just like acting, having like, these are your bonds and all that stuff.
I agree with that completely. I think for me, it's that sort of that sudden force of change, which could be something that someone holds quite personal for their character. I think that's the thing for me. Like, I always bring up this example of it, but in Tomb of Horrors, even in the most recent version of it, there is a room where if they walk through this shroud or whatever, they go there, their alignment changes and their sex changes as well as the character. And it was supposed to be a shameful thing in a way, because obviously these veteran players would be like, I am a chaotic good male character, and then they go through the shroud and it's like lawful evil and a woman, and then there was some things like if you kept going back and forth, your alignment would change, but your sex wouldn't change, and vice versa. And it's just like, you don't. I always feel like forcing something like that, I find that more, I don't know, is a more awkward thing than, say, losing a level, which I think other people will be like, oh, losing a level, that's really bad, or and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like,
I think it's a very personal thing, isn't it? And I mean, I think it's terrible that it was seen as a negative, isn't it? It's like so classic old D&D, isn't it? Just to make that. But I think in terms of, I'd see. I mean, again, it'd be one of those things, as we've said lots of times, with your players, make these conversations. If they thought it'd be quite fun to have all like parts of their sort of character sheet change, and you say, are you happy with anything in your character sheet to be completely rendered something else by spells in this game? I think that's probably a question to ask before you get there, because some people would be completely up for that, because it's like an acting challenge, isn't it? In some respects, like, I want to change from being lawful to chaotic. I mean, how would your character, let's imagine your same character, but the only thing that's changed about them is they're now a chaotic character. How would that affect them? It's kind of fun and good to evil, but like, what is their evil? Because I always say to people, like, evil doesn't mean, what does evil mean and what does good mean doesn't actually, I take that as evil in your eyes, and however you read that. And it's just like a lot of evil that I always play is just, they just want power and money, and it's a very simple evil, but you can go down many routes of that. And the same with good. Good might just be very nice, just a happy-go-lucky and nice person, and does a little bit of good. Or it could be someone who's just like charitable and philanthropic and all that sort of stuff. So I think that's, so it's kind of just interesting.
Both,
I see it.
Yeah, and like some people think they're doing good when they're actually doing evil actions and stuff. So
Exactly.
there's all that sort of thing. But I think what I would do maybe to tweak this slightly, rather than just be like overall, okay, you're now evil, or okay, you're now lawful, chaotic, whatever. I would look at the characters' personality, flaw, bonds, traits, etc. Pick one and flip it in some way, or
that's a good one.
Like see like, I don't know, family. It's the biggest and most important thing to me. Is like, let's swap it around. So it is like, you can't stand family and familiar bonds and stuff like that. So it's rather than your whole personality or your whole outlook on stuff, it's just this one thing that you really treasured or was a big part of you, and now it's like, just as like, years ago you really liked that one thing and now you don't anymore. I just like but it's such a sudden thing, and it's a noticeable change, I guess, and it gives you that idea of like, oh, you'll role play around this specific thing.
I quite like the idea of, if you're an edgelord and then you get completely changed to not being an edgelord. That's it. So it's like, I'm the rogue who's an orphan and everything's been terrible, and you go, actually now you had a really great upbringing.
What, I like flowers.
And you love flowers, and exactly. I don't know, just like just change them from.
I think that to me makes it like, it gives you something more to work with, rather than like, okay, you're now totally evil. Because then again, it's that sort of thing where you could fall into the tropes perhaps and stereotypes perhaps, but I think make it personal to the character sheet.
You used to like death metal, you now like electronica.
Yeah,
that's it.
Why not? Yeah. I 100%.
I'm just really now into my Fatboy Slim. I don't know why.
I love that. Another level up card, the Comet. Comet. I can't even say it right. Here we go. If you single-handedly defeat the next hostile monster or group of monsters you encounter, you gain experience points enough to gain 1 level. Otherwise, this card has no effect. And I've seen this being played where somebody pulls that card and they go, right, is there an angry squirrel nearby? I will destroy it. And so like just looking around for anything like that, especially if there's like a time limit to these things as well. I quite like that, because that again is enough experience points to gain 1 level. So that's probably what I would change in the other ones, where it's like you gain this amount of experience points. So maybe it's like you gain enough for 2 levels, or you lose at least 1 level. So you're actually sort of making that distinction.
Yeah. I think that's kind of fun, and I think it's also kind of like, I would probably give them a hostile monster that appears at the same time, just to make it more immediate. I feel like, to make it feel a bit more like something. So it's like, here's the challenge straight away. Can you defeat it? And that would give you the ability. Would you have the players like roll for it or something like that? Would you come up with a table? Maybe that'd be kind of fun. Or maybe it's like maybe from a summoning sheet or something like that. You could probably, something that's available to be summoned or something would be quite good.
And have it scale up depending on their level, so that it's a bit more of an interesting fight, rather than
make it a challenge. High challenge rating, and if you're on a certain plane or a certain location, you might choose a particular thing that's to that. But
definitely.
The next one, Donjon, then is Donjon.
Donjon
is very much like. This is the one that I would say then you do have to do the wish spell, because it says that on the old version. But the other one I'd say like, you do know the location by being nearby. But this one, you get entombed in a state of suspended animation in an extra-dimensional sphere. Everything you're wearing and carrying stays behind the space you occupy when you disappear. You remain imprisoned till you are found and removed from the sphere. You can't be located by any divination magic, but a wish spell can. I mean, what? Like, that's I just think the wish spell thing does make. I mean, you have to go. As I said, find someone. You can't even get a god, because that's divination, I imagine. So it's got to literally be wish. Pay someone to do a wish spell. And find them.
Yeah, and similar thing to the void. Like you said, it's just that little bit of a difference. And and here you don't have necessarily any guards or anything like that. So again, it's rather than it being like, definitely at the end of this huge dungeon on Pandemonium, it's definitely like you can put that anywhere. So maybe it's a more, I don't know, accessible one if you wanted to do it in the Forgotten Realms. Because I say this because I'm maybe a little bit biased from Critical Role, is that they put it in pandemonium. They put it. This happened elsewhere and it wasn't an easy access thing to do. Whereas this, I feel like it could be easy access, or it could be like it's definitely on this plane rather than who knows where. But
an extra dimensional sphere though means that they're just they're like they could be just nowhere. Like they're just in. How do you get to it? You have to like get someone who can plane shift to find where that sphere is. I don't know. It feels really awful.
Go to Sigil, find the door that leads to the particular space.
Exactly. That's it indeed. What's after that then? We've done Ariel. Was it Fates then, isn't it?
Fates, yes. So I love the description of this one. Reality's fabric unravels and spins anew, allowing you to avoid or erase one event as if it never happened. You can use this card's magic as soon as you draw the card or at any other time before you die. So there's not a time limit on it. But again, it's basically a no strings attached wish spell, I think. But it's to erase something, not to create something. So I quite like that. That's almost sort of that, what's it called now? Portent sort of thing that the Wizards has, where you can be like, oh, I'm going to substitute this role, something like that. So, yeah, I think it's a lot of fun.
To the DM right at the end of the session going, we didn't kill the dragon. There's the screen. Like, what are you doing?
No,
what are you doing?
No! It's
and
back in the world.
And he's gonna like go back and fix the whole. I was like, you're joking. Why would you do that?
But here's a question for you. So it says one event. How big of an event would you allow this card to reveal? Anything.
I'm pretty open to anything. Yeah, I'd be like, you want to just. Even in Forgotten Realms, you want to say the spell plague never happened or something like that, you know, like or something crazy. I'd be totally up for anything, really. Like even if they did say the BBEG got away, like the last BBEG before the one we've just been in actually escaped and survived or something like that, I'd be like, what? Okay, we'll make that work.
I guess. Fuck. Yeah.
It means then you've got a whole new thing to go back on, which is like,
true.
How did they escape?
No, I completely agree. Because that was the only thing I was thinking about. Because I was like, because obviously it's like that whole, butterfly flaps its wings and a huge hurricane happens. Is that sort of thing? It's like what would be different? Like I can imagine, like for me in our D&D campaigns, like what if one of the characters didn't die right at the beginning, even though we brought them back later on? Well, that would have changed the whole story. And it's like how do you, again, it's that sort of thing, if you, depending on how immediately you do it, like, is it a mistake you've just made, or if it's 1 year ago, like, is it even the same party? Because it's not really, like, you can't really go back on it. Once it's done, it's done.
Exactly. I mean, we started our campaign with that. The fabric of reality's unraveled, and they've only just realised when getting to Sigil that the BBG, they made a wish spell, a very powerful, like a will spell given to them from like Asmodeus. So it was a scroll, so it's got very powerful. But anyway, so they just wish the BBG never existed, and so they've only just realised that actually came into effect, and they're now thinking like, and so then they've met some people and they go, I don't quite know why we sent you on a mission. Like, I can't quite remember, and they're kind of like, and it's sort of stuff like that. It's like we must talk about that sort of thing because why did you disappear like for a few weeks? It's like. And all that sort of stuff, and it's trying to make that work is actually quite difficult. I'm thinking like, how much when they haven't quite clocked on to the fact that maybe they could just go home because I mean there's still other problems, but like what would happen if they went home? Would people still be there that weren't there anymore? It's kind of interesting. I don't know. Like
it's a lot of I guess as a DM, if that ever comes up, I would definitely maybe would I call the session early and be like, give me half an hour whilst I go back to my whole notes?
You would. I think that's a session ending thing, isn't it? Or you would, if you were really quick, you could come up with a couple of things. Like you might even just do like
maybe an early break.
A building shifts. If it's a massive world changing thing, like a couple of streets shift, this moves around, your clothes change appearance, and we fade to black because I'm going away because I need to write.
I need an early break and write all this stuff up. Yeah. No,
it's
really
evil.
And again, and this card comes back in the deck as well. It doesn't disappear, so you can pull it several times. So that could be good.
Yeah. Next up, then I think is looking at the gem.
Gem. Yes. So 25 pieces of gold of jewelry worth 2,000 gold each, or 50 gems worth 1,000 gold each appear at your feet. Again, a nice flavoursome thing. I quite like.
50 grand. It's not bad.
Not bad at all. I just like the idea that because again, you could pull it and go, great. you hope you have a bag of holding or something just to be able to carry all this bloody stuff with you.
Yeah.
And so you don't get robbed.
Fantastic.
But it's quite nice.
Love it.
I like that as a little. Here's some treasure. I guess maybe
Nice.
my only thing would be, I guess it makes sense because it does say it's called gem, and it has to be gemstones. But I would like it if it was, because it gets. And we've talked about this before. I think this idea of like magic items or treasure is like. Oh, it's treasure. Right, we're going to sell it at some point. So I would be like, okay, you got some gems, but you also have this massive fuck-off painting with a gold gilded frame.
You could make one called Hoard, couldn't you? Which is like you just get a dragon's hoard.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you're like,
There we go.
all right, take this with you, and let's describe all the things. And there's no magic items in it. It's just worth a lot, but it's cumbersome.
I'd love that. You Hoard, right? We made this card now. Hoard.
Okay,
you
Hoard.
gain a dragon's hoard, a real dragon, but they know you've got it.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
That's
So
the
you've
payoff.
got a dragon as an enmity
go,
towards
"Huh,
you. So you've
who's
got
this?"
you've got all the gold, but a dragon knows you've got it. What are you gonna do? You've got everything in their hoard.
And it's coming for you. It knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. a lot.
I'm for that one.
Put
That's
that one
fun.
in. I love that.
Alright, that's in our 25 deck card, whatever
Yeah,
we're
that's our
gonna
next card one. Talons. Every magic item you wear or carry disintegrates. Artifacts in your possession aren't destroyed but do vanish. That's pretty devastating. Like if you're tooled up with all your magic items, if you've got your cloak of flying like I always do, or anything, and then suddenly it's like
your broom, you'd be pissed. Your magic carpet disintegrating in front of your eyes. What you do is go, hold all my cool stuff. Attune to all my cool stuff. Now I'm gonna hold cards.
yeah,
That's cheating, but it's true. It's playing
you
careful.
completely in your underwear and stuff. And go, right, I'm ready to pull out.
Yeah, exactly. Just literally all you've got is some pants on. Make sure they're not magical, so they stay on, and that's it.
My magic pants. What are they? Your lucky pants?
Lucky pants
they're
that
not
make
lucky
them
anymore.
magical. Yeah.
The magic item we're gonna have to make is your lucky pants. It just feels lucky. It doesn't do anything.
I want a magic item made by someone called Lucky Pants.
Lucky pants.
Fantastic.
I love that.
No, I think that's quite good. Well, yeah, I think that's was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Play clever. That's it, isn't it? I
Yeah.
guess so for doing that.
And then
Is that
no, we've
is
got
that is that all of them?
we've got two more. We've got the idiot, and
Oh yeah.
and then the one I can't pronounce, the Vizier. No, Vizier.
Oh, Vizier.
Vizier.
Oh yeah. So the Vizier.
Mm.
1 year of drawing this card, they could ask a question in a state of meditation and receive an enlightening answer within their mind, along with specific knowledge. They gain the wisdom to apply that information and, if necessary, solve a dilemma or crisis in their life. Is that the same as what it says on
In
here?
other words, the knowledge comes with wisdom on how to apply it. So instead of your DM giving you a sort of clue, it would be like, have you tried password 12345 enter or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, which is kind of good. It's kind of useful at times. That
I
you
quite
can
like it, yeah, because again, it's just asking. It's one of those things. Again, if you pull it, it doesn't. It says within 1 year, so it means that you can don't use it now in the session. But I would maybe do the caveat of any. So from the pulling of it, that player, if they ask any question, and they're not making it clear that it's not out of character, that's the question they ask. Like, I maybe would be really mean.
Oh, that's mean. So they just go, so what is this? And you go, well it's this. I'll take that card off you now.
Yeah, thanks.
What? No, no, wait. No. Oh,
I think
bugger.
in this situation, I would be honest in the sense of where are the others when you've got
What
enemies?
if they say something like, oh, who was that guy we met the other week? That would be mean, because you'd just be like the name of an NPC, and they'd be like, just because they forgot.
But I'm good.
You're
Maybe then,
so evil.
maybe then it would be like, okay, it's not just one question; it's 3 questions. So
Yeah,
that
okay, fine.
So they get the trick once. I feel smug, and they're like, okay, what's your true? You got 2 more questions, and then they're like, right.
That is so mean.
That's great. And then finally you have idiot, which is lose some intelligence, permanently reduce your intelligence by 1d4 plus 1 to a minimum score of 1. You draw 1 more additional card beyond your declared draws, which I quite like that as a caveat at the end. But that could be devastating. That could be -5 to your intelligence. And so if you're a wizard, or if you're using intelligence as your spell casting thing, or if you're an artificer,
it's artificer, isn't it? Really, yeah. It's only those 2, but arcane tricksters use it as well, don't they? No, it's not. Yeah, it's not fun. That's not fun.
Yeah.
And if you're already low level intelligence, that can just make it really difficult as well to like.
Yeah. I guess for me, because I guess it's tricky. I would maybe switch it maybe if I was adding more cards to this, I'd have it so it's not, because obviously intelligence is the one that you lose from one stat. But maybe if you were going to do the other ones, like I don't know what you do for like losing charisma, like you just be blunt or something like that, or strength is just weedy, or like I think like it'd be cool to have cards
ones
that
for either,
for each
or maybe
one,
you just roll. You just roll when you pick out the idiot. You just roll a d6,
that'd
and
be,
you lose it from the one that's, and it just changes to that. So you picked out the idiot, but it turns to the sapling.
Rather than losing a whole lot of thing, you roll to see which one you lose from, and then you just minus at least to go down one level of your modifier. I think I think that'll work. I probably wouldn't call it idiot, I'll call it something else, but I think just so you, there's a more random chance, because there could be someone who's like, I never use intelligence, it's totally fine, whereas
totally. No, I totally agree.
So
that's cool.
Those are the 22 cards in total. What do you think of them in as a group? Do you think there's, is there stuff that you like, there's some really good stuff, or you're like not so sure overall? Like now that we've gone through it in total.
Yeah, I think there is some good ones, and I think there are some that I'm like, okay. They're not actually enough, which is fine, but middling. There's quite a lot of middling, which because you always hear about the big ones, and I think it would just be, I would just make it more dangerous. That's why I make it more dangerous and more beneficial. I much prefer a higher stakes game for that. I
definitely think it feels like it's obviously been made early on, or it's been part of it, and it's not been updated to include other cards, or to have stuff that reflects how we play the game now, or stuff that we find interesting now. Because it does feel like, again, I know I keep harping on about it, but the XP stuff, like it's like, okay, great, well, up one level, and that can be fine. But at the same time, it'd be nice to have. I feel like what I'd love with all of these cards is that they are high risk but also high reward as well.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Because there's some of them.
It should be.
Yeah, because there's some of them like that. Going back to say key, for example, where you get like a cool weapon, I would make it so it's cursed. And make it up that you have extra things on top of it, and it's maybe not a huge big curse, but it's still like it's beneficial. But at the same time, this happens to it. Like if you play like Borderlands, there's like guns and stuff which obviously are really cool, but they'll have like annoying details, like they'll shout pew 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 every time you shoot them or something like that, or they scream.
Key and lock, and key is like you get a really good, really awesome, super rare magic weapon, and lock is you get a really awesome super magic weapon, but it's cursed.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's it. It just needs a couple more. I think that's it. But you can make it like you can either get a really awesome weapon, or you get a really, really awesome weapon, but you're gonna get cursed with it, and it's a super bad curse.
Yeah, I like that. So we discussed off recording, like making our own cards for this, and and I had a look through some of the Reddit stuff as well, and it's interesting.
Cool.
So I'll just mention a few. This is where I'll probably reveal all of your ones.
Yeah, please don't.
But the ones I came up with that I saw on Reddit, there was one called the Library. The character detects useful knowledge. This is identical to detect magic and reduces search time to rounds rather than minutes. And then in brackets it says, of course, what one character considers useful may not be true for the others, which I quite like. I think that's quite a
Where's
cool...
the nearest mayonnaise shop?
Yeah, why?
Like grog. I was just thinking of grog.
River. The character loses one random magical item and gains another. If they don't have one in the first place, then they get a very minor item. So I like that switching one.
Cool.
So similar to the Hoard one that you can get, Pen, the character gains a map to the greatest hoard in the world. And then finally, Third Eye, the character gains a feat of the DM's choice.
That's kind of cool. Feat thing's quite good actually. I quite like that. Yeah.
So those are the ones I found on Reddit, because I was like, there's loads of people like putting out this stuff there, but I was like, those ones are quite cool. And the feat one, I was like, we don't actually see too much of feats in this one, and I think it'd be nice again if you were trying to replace. XP stuff, maybe like adding stuff like that.
That could be another option.
But I'm stalling for time. But Hamilton, what's the ones that you've come up with? What card would you add to your deck?
I've got two that I like. I had one more, but I'm just going to take it off the table because it's called the Architect and it's so naff. But the one I'm going to go for is Dominion.
Okay.
So Dominion is you gain control of a country, or where you can roll. I'd make a table which is like town, city, like conurbation, and then like country, basically. And you immediately are considered the ruler of that area, and you own it, and that is yours.
Wow.
I think that'd be really cool.
I think
it's
that's
like
sudden, like,
you
oh my
now
God.
are the Queen of England.
Like,
that's,
what? Shit.
What? But that's so cool, right? And
I
it's
like that,
it-
yeah.
Yeah.
For
That'd be
story
fun.
benefits as well, because it'd be great, because you could be like wondering, oh my liege, what are you doing? Oh, please
Yeah.
come back to the castle. We've got guards looking out for you.
Yeah.
What? Like,
Yes, exactly. Where have you been? Yeah, so that I think that could be really fun.
I like that for a role playing thing, for sure.
Yeah. Do you want me to give my second one?
I want to hear your second one.
Okay.
I've got two as well, so
Okay,
don't worry.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Gemini,
Ooh.
which is stealing a little bit from the one that we had in that place in the Feywild Companion that they did.
Mhm.
But basically, a doppelganger of you appears, and until you defeat it, whoever wins really becomes you.
Yep.
But they are like your, I don't know, you could add in the mirror thing if you wanted to, like they've got different alignments or something like that, or like if you're evil, they're your good twin, or if you're good, they're your evil twin. I don't know, it could be something like that. But I quite like, and basically it's just another one of those, like, it's exactly you. They've got all your stats.
Yep.
And they're after you, and you don't know where they are, but they'll turn up. And it's just a play on the rogue, but it's just that it's you instead of.
Yeah. No, you know what?
know.
I also put down mirror, evil twin of the opposite player.
Oh, there you go, Gemini. There we are.
Gemini,
We've got
yeah.
the same one.
But the slight twist I did was like whoever wins becomes the player character, and the other one is forgotten from existence. So,
I'm up for, that's
So
the same thing, yeah.
I just like you just go. I'm going to take that character sheet now, and you're going to play this character instead.
Yeah.
And it's like almost like forgotten everything about them. So I think
cool.
anything with twins, and it's the chance for the DM to also play and be like, this is how you really play your character, or even learn about it. Like I'd be like,
Yeah.
fuck, what do I do with rogues? Like,
Yes, exactly.
Um,
Cool. What's your other one then?
so the other one, see how you think about this one. So I was thinking of like, it's because I've been playing Pokemon on and off, and the one thing I always struggle with is trying to get out of the fucking places, because I'm like, well, fucking hit. So
Yeah.
I thought of something, map/escape rope/ticket. So the idea is a one-use card that can be used at any time to leave a place and fast travel to a desired destination. However,
Yeah.
once you have left that location, you can't return to that place, and up to 3 members of your party can come with you.
You can't return to that place ever again.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that little twist. Like the doors, like you can't go back to the room you died in Sixth Sense and stuff like that. Yeah, I
pretty
like
much.
that.
Pretty much, yeah. It's that sort of thing where if you, and again, that's sort of up to 3 people can come with you. If you're leaving NPCs there, you can't go back and get them, or you can't come and save them or anything like that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But I did like, you could be like at the top of a mountain. You're like, well, I need to, or in a big city, like, oh, we need to go somewhere. It's like it's sort of the thing where you need to know where you're going, but you can't return to that place for whatever reason.
Oh, geez, you are such an evil person. You know that you always have a little. You'd make a great deal maker for devils. If I need a devil in my campaign, I know I'm
Oh,
calling.
come around! Well, you got to have that Tim Burton, Fiona Howat twist. That's what I'm having. But yeah, those are my 2 suggestions. But as we've seen, like looking at this thing, I think it's very easy to change the cards a little bit and do it for your own game. And I think because this is the thing, as we've discussed, that it's such a popular magic item, so no doubt your players will know what they do because they'll have gone locked in stuff. So if you just go, oh, you pulled the moon card, cool, and it does something completely different to what they're expecting. I love those little take out the rug underneath them sort of moments. Just be like, good luck with this, you know.
You get teleported to the moon and you're stuck there.
I hope you have oxygen. Bye.
Bye.
So well, thank you so much, Hamilton, for indulging me in looking at decks
pleasure.
and magic items and stuff. How is Dragon's Duel? What's going on? Shattered Realm, Darkest Timeline?
Yes, it's going all right. It's fine. Yes, we've having some technical difficulties with Darkest Timeline, so that's been off and on a minute, but it is coming back tonight.
I'm recording.
Record this.
Yes.
No, it's live tonight, but it's when we're recording, so it doesn't count. But on Fridays nights, it will be that. We've got the Shattered Realm is now on Monday nights at 9 p.m. We are in Sigil. I don't know when this comes out where we'll be, but we're definitely back in Sigil. I had to play Asmodeus and the Lady of Pain in one episode.
I heard some great reviews of that, so
it was bloody difficult. It was very hard. But as I've been made aware that my Lady Payne sounds like Mrs. Bad Crumble, who's an Idiazod invention, because I did like a Scottish teacher. It was very angry with all of them, and so she was like that. I don't know.
I love
it felt
that.
right.
Hey,
and so
Idiazod tick for me. So
exactly. So if you like your Idiazod and your Mrs. Bad Crumbles, then just
come see
she's
Lady
a Lady
of
of Pain, and go see Lady of Pain. So yeah, that's good fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
How about you? How about
me? Well, as I'm reporting from Wimbledon, London, as you can see from behind me, I run What Am I Rolling, which is a twice monthly RPG one-shot podcast. As always, it's doing very, very well. Currently, we've got 39 Dark is currently coming out, which has been very good. I've been really enjoying listening back to that and putting that out there. We've got other games going on. I'm going to run a game of Paranoia. I've already sort of said that. Someone else is going to run for me a game of Troika coming up, which I'm very interested in because I can visualize the art. I have just no idea how it's played, so that will be interesting to come out. If you're interested in other things that I've been on,
I was going to say, is there something quite exciting you did recently?
So yeah, it's been quite a week for me. So a couple of years ago. Last year, I was on the Most podcast for one of their game shows and stuff, and now this week of recording, I ran for them Jason Statham's Big Vacation on their show, which was. It was very fun. It was very much two Americans yeeting people down Savile Row and trying to get through a petting zoo. And Jason had a fun time. So it was a lot of fun and really good fun to run. And I 100%, if you're ever interested in other one-page one-shots and stuff, and like Jason Statham's Big Vacation sounds a lot of fun. That's Grant Howat, so I highly recommend checking out all of Grant Howat's. Like, let's face it, he is a monopoly on everything. Like Honey Heist. He's done loads of things. Those are two ones because I've run them the most, but there's loads of them, and he does a new one every month, and I highly recommend them because it's just so much fun. And if you're one of those people who's like, oh, D&D is fun, but we need a break, or I want to start DMing, but I'm not so sure, I always recommend those ones because it's just so quick to learn, and it's very much, as we were discussing earlier, sort of a yes and, like, just do it. It doesn't matter if you muck up, it's all good fun. So yeah, I've been busy, but yeah, if you want to check those out, they'll be out on the Rooster Teeth website, I presume, next week on the catch-up, and I'll be out on their podcast as well, so that's the Most podcast on Rooster Teeth. And of course, we've got our 10% offer code at Third Space Gaming in Burnley, so that's, type in DMBC into checkout. DMBC, got to do the hand gestures, otherwise it doesn't count. Yes, there's obviously Call of the Neverdeeps coming out in March. We've got Terrain, you've got Dice, you've got other RPGs. If you want them, get 10% off of your first order. That's DMBC at checkout. But Hamilton, I hear we have something else we need to talk about and plug. Like, what is it? Tell me.
Whoa. We are sponsored by Crucible Magazine and their fabulous Kickstarter. Ooh. I might even share my screen right now. Look at that. You can see their Kickstarter right there in front of us. Yes.
Amazing.
Crucible Magazine is a monthly magazine for 5e in print, so you're old-fashioned, PDF, like your modern folk, and Foundry VTT, because because you want to be doing it on the computers and playing with your friends. Packed with adventures, comics, interviews, and much, much more. So if you go to www.cruciblemag.com/Dragon's Duel, all one word, you will go straight to that, and you can then pledge to them, and it gives us a little boost, which is positive. There's a free 90-page launch issue out now, which has got a Foundry VTT model already. It's got Draxorn Delve, Death's Despair, and a Sparking Lair. Whoa. And it's also got my favourite, the Prison of the Archelex, which is like a weird, freaky human spider thing. What are they called?
Which you have to say in that voice as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't do it in normal voice.
The other reason why I like it is it is definitely got Hamilton's font approval, which is a big thing. Stamp that with good fonts. The Archelex font, as you can see right now on the screen, is one of my favourites. I think TJ Phoenix is the writer, which I've recognised that name from somewhere.
Great.
We can cut that bit.
Yep.
It comes with really cool maps and like loads of stuff that you can put in for all those things, so you can just play them straight out the back. And it's got really cool magic items, and basically it's got interviews with famous people. So go on there, support it, pledge now, and get some issues of a really cool magazine.
Yeah,
basically.
no, I can't wait to read interviews about stuff because I'm always fascinated to see what other people have got to talk about and offer. Because
Yes.
obviously, the only person I talk about D&D stuff on this level is you. And whilst I believe you and trust your judgment on
Whilst I
everything,
believe you.
I believe you about the deck of many things. I want to hear what other people have to say. So no, I love that sort of, and I love people being passionate about DMing and talking about D&D. So I'm fully behind this 100%. So
No, I think it's really good, and I think it is actually pretty, and I think it's got cool stuff. I think having 4 little adventures. I think if you wanted to be, as you say, we always talk about like DMing starting up, and you want like quick, already available with all the stuff. For not, if you think about how much it costs to buy something on Roll20 to get like even a one shot, when you get 4 of these for the price that this is, actually I think it's pretty worth it if you want to do Monster of the Week style gaming. So I think it's really good.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So again, what's that website that we need to go to?
www.cruciblemag.com/Dragon's Duel. Oh my gosh, are we dabbing? Oh my gosh.
That's /. Anyway.
Yes. We just look like old people dabbing, you know. That's the problem.
It is. But /Dragon's Duel.
Yes, /Dragon's Duel, all one word, and that's DUEL, not duel, as in like there's 2 of them.
Ah, fair enough.
Because some people get that mistaken sometimes. I've noticed. Anyway, so that is that. But then now there is none but left to say, is there, Fiona, than our famous catchphrase.
Yes, I'm prepared now. Ready?
See you on the flip side!